What is going on? RJD here, bringing you another video. Listen, shout out to everybody who continues to watch my content, who continues to hit the like button, whether it's 770, 700, or 700,000 subscribers. I appreciate every one of you. It don't matter. We're going to build this thing up this year, one subscriber at a time. Even if I'm 1% better than 2024, we are here. As always, you know how we get this done. We come in, we watch a video, we talk about the video, and we discuss. Now, here's a video on the wildfires. Just a quick update. Last week was absolutely crazy. Praying for all my California brethren. I do know quite a few people out in California, and it almost looks like hell over there, for real. And now is a time where people come together and people band together, and we see how strong community is, how strong family is. And at the end of the day, this is Cali, this is still US. And excuse me, what's happening over there is absolutely devastating. I have not seen anything like this ever. I mean, every time I look at another video or I look at somebody who was taking videos of this or who had to drive through this or who had to live through this, it's like amazing in a negative way how just nature can just do what it does, and it's uncontrollable, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. There's nothing anyone can do. All you can do is hope and pray that your house wasn't affected. I saw videos where it was like 5 houses burnt to the ground and 1 house was spared. 5 other houses were burnt to the ground on the other side of the house. It's like you can't explain this. There's no one to, there's no one to blame. There's no one to get mad at. It's a fire happened, multiple fires happened, and just like Joe Rogan said on his interview back in the day, and I remember that interview. I think it was a year or 2 ago. He said, listen, somebody was talking to him, and he said, listen, there's going to be a time. It's going to be the right wind with the right amount of dry air, with the right amount of just perfect natural disaster. And there's going to be a fire that burns through LA, and it's going to go burn all the way to the Pacific, and nobody's going to be able to do anything about it. And that's what we saw. So, let's talk about it. And let's see what the video is.
More than 14,000 acres. The Palisades fire is only about 13% contained and has burned nearly 24,000 acres. It's still threatening residential areas.
14,000 acres in the Palisades fire, 24,000 acres. 24 people have been confirmed deceased. I know last week it was only 10. First it was like 6, then it was 10, then it was 16. I guess some people stayed to fight the fires. And unfortunately, today is Monday the 13th. I have heard on certain news outlets that the wind is going to be picking back up. And I heard the fire is only 26% contained. I don't know which fire is 26% contained, but there are multiple fires. And make no mistake, those fires are still burning. It's not over. Those fires are still burning. And if the wind continues to get dry, and the wind continues to get dry, you hear me?
You stupid.
If the wind continues to pick up and the air is still dry out there, this is going to be a long fight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I don't know which fires are contained and which aren't, but as you can see, there are celebrities' homes being affected, multiple celebrities' homes burnt to the ground. Multiple celebrities are here talking about this. You know, LA has a lot of celebrities, a lot of actors, a lot of entertainers, and these people are being affected too. We know the insurance companies are like, we out of here. We're not. We do know that multiple people have stated that a lot of policies got canceled like a week or 2 before the fire started, or a month before the fire started. Thousands of people's policies were canceled. So how do these people rebuild? I mean, just because they living out there, they may not have millions and millions of dollars to just rebuild another home. That's going to take a lot, and that's going to take time, and the rebuilding phase is going to be one that is very extensive and very long. So let's continue.
The Hearst fire is 89% contained, and the other two fires that broke out last week are thankfully 100% contained. But now officials are bracing for what could be, quote, explosive fire growth. Strong Santa Ana winds once again have returned to the area with gusts of up to 70 miles an hour. They're expected to last through Wednesday, prompting red flag warnings from the Ventura County coastline all the way to the Mexican border.
So the winds are picking back up. Those fires are not contained 100%. Only some of them are. I know they said the Hearst fire was contained. So the big fire, the two big ones are still not all the way contained yet. So
California Governor Gavin Newsom says he thinks these wildfires will be one of the worst in state history. Newsom made the comment in an
they're already one of the worst in their state's history.
Exclusive interview with NBC's Meet the Press. And it comes as firefighters complained some hydrants ran dry in the first several hours after the fires began, which Newsom says he's calling for an independent investigation to get to the bottom of that.
What the hell happened? What happened to the water system? Was it, and by the way, was it just overwhelm that you had so much that was used, we drew it down? Was it pipes? Was it electricity? Was it a combination of pipes, electricity, and
Nope.
All right, listen. Here's what we're going to do. We know, regardless of what you may think about the mayor, the governor of California, California has been mismanaged. It has. A couple of years ago, Trump was there talking about how they could take water and use it for situations just like this, because in California, you have to deal with wildfires. You have to deal with earthquakes. You know this. It's every single year forever. Well, if you live in California, you know this. So obviously the government knows this. So I don't understand how they ran out of water. Why weren't they prepared for this? When you know you have to deal with wildfires in California every year. Every year, it's the same thing. That's like saying, I didn't know the snow was coming. We ran out of plows. I live in New York. You know what we get in New York every single year? Snow. So how would you run out of plows if you know it's going to snow every winter? We get like one snowstorm every winter. I think last year we got like a little bit of snow, but every year we get at least one snowstorm where it drops a couple of inches on us. We know this. So if you know the wildfires happen every year, because every year I look at the news, every single year, there's a wildfire. Maybe it's small, maybe it's big. And most of the wildfires are like, there's a human element to them. It happens. Why weren't you prepared for this? So somebody has to be held accountable. And I understand the governor talking about, oh, it's not about pointing the blame right now. Nah, somebody got to be held accountable because they weren't doing their job. So regardless of who you point the blame at, you've got water there you can use. What is this I hear about a bird that they tried to save, or they're trying to save this bird so they didn't use the water from, they could have had water stored up, but they didn't use it because of this bird. I heard some crazy story like that. I don't want to look it up right now, but so there are things that you could have put in place to at least minimize this damage. Multiple people, hundreds of thousands of people are affected by this. So yes, we got to point some fingers, and somebody got to be held accountable.
pumps? What was that drawdown impossible because you lost 7,000+ structures right here anyway, and every single structure we lost a pipe that was leaking, and we would have lost that water pressure anyway. Did it contribute in any way to our inability to fight?
No, you ran out of water because you didn't prepare properly. It ain't got nothing to do with people's pipes in their houses. How they went? I saw a video on TikTok where it was like the news. Somebody on the news was like, "Yeah, fake news. There's plenty of water. We have plenty of water." And then you cut to like this reporter, and she's like, "Yeah, the firefighters just said they ran out of water. They got to go to this other pump over here." So you're still, so they're still lying to the people. Oh yeah, we got plenty of water, but they clearly ran out of water. It's like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? What is this? What is this? The people of California, I can see how angry they are, and I get it, because it's like when you see just the level of incompetence that is going on over there, you're like, what the hell are we doing? Now, could you have potentially stopped this from happening? Probably not. Like I said, the right wind on the right day with the right air quality, it's going to be what it's going to be. But could you have drastically cut down? Could you have drastically cut down what all the homes affected? Right there in that spot, he said 7,000 homes gone, burned to the ground. Could you have drastically cut this number down if you had water, or if you were prepared properly? Maybe. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Right, the fire, or were 99-mile-an-hour winds determinative, and there was really no firefight that could have been more meaningful. So all of us want to know those answers, and I just don't want to wait, because people are asking me. I want to know those facts. I want them objectively determined, and that the chips fall where they may. This is not about finger pointing.
A lot of important questions still to be answered. Joining us now live from Pacific.
Bombing here. It literally looks like a bomb went off. In other areas, there's just nothing left, no clue of what stood before the flames. And as you talked about, there's that growing potential now and concern about another firestorm here. The worst of the winds expected to kick up, according to forecasters, sometime this afternoon and continue through Wednesday. And that brings with it the potential.
Look at it, looked like a tornado hit it. I saw somebody that said, and I don't want to be insensitive, because I am, like I said, I come from America. So I'm not going to sit here and say I know what bombs going off look like, but that looks like it just leveled completely. These houses are gone. They're gone. Look at that. They're gone.
To again fan some of the flames that are burning, to stoke these embers and spread these embers as well into other areas. And so there's a lot.
Like one house was spared on that block.
A lot of worry, a lot of concern about that, and a lot of fear about what's going to happen as a result of those winds. Look, they've closed off this area. The Palisades obviously locked down, will continue to be, and others that are hardest hit. Just not safe in many of these areas, according to law enforcement. Initially, a lot of people to come in, perhaps find something they could pull from some of the rubble, but now saying we can't do that with these winds beginning to swirl again, and we're not even going to consider it until sometime Thursday at the earliest. So that's the situation on the ground. We know that the National Guard is staked out here and across the region. We've seen troops moving in, 1,000 more deployed overnight, and then you've got law enforcement and firefighters constantly patrolling this area, looking for hot spots, dousing them where they find them, and again, preparing for what could be another severe wind event coming up, really starting this afternoon, Al.
Jay, the people who are trying to get back in their homes, even if it just means being able to grab one or two things, what are they saying to you? I mean, we've seen just some really emotional interviews. Can you talk about those conversations that you're having?
So difficult, and a lot of people who have come in. We saw one man earlier who had worked at his dad's gas station. That gas station was burned to the ground. He was rummaging through, found a handful of quarters, and it reminded him of the times when, as a kid, he and his brother had worked at that gas station. So it's the smallest of things, the things that may seem insignificant, that people are pulling from just what is really just ash and twisted metal, and just finding something that triggers those memories. It's a blessing for many, but also a curse, because it makes them realize just how devastating this damage is and how difficult it's going to be to come back.
NBC's Jay Gray, thank you for your reporting.
He said, baby, I gotta go. The fire's done made it to my yard.
A sweet but stern 83-year-old Erlene Louise Kelly.
We didn't expect to lose her so tragically. And that's what hurts most.
Tell them it's not what happens to you in life. It's what you do after it counts.
It was my baby, and he died needlessly.
Former child actor Rory Sykes, born blind, also had cerebral palsy.
He said, Mom, leave me. And no mom can leave the kid. And I've got a broken arm. I couldn't lift him. I couldn't move him.
His mom, Shelley, telling an Australian news organization she drove to get help from firefighters.
When the fire department brought me back, his cottage was burnt to the ground.
At least 2 victims tried to protect their homes from flames, where they raised families and lived for decades, like Victor Shaw and Rodney Kent Nickerson.
Great person, funny, the life of the party, and love people, very intelligent man, love to read.
And there's Randy Neode, a Malibu surfer who lived along the Pacific Coast Highway in his well-known Red Crab Shack. He was found there, according to his mom, who also told NBC News his last words to her were, "Pray for the Palisades and pray for Malibu. I love you."
That was NBC's Dana Griffin reporting, and we're all praying.
Yes. Yeah, let's see this one. Just 3 hours ago.
New York homeowners.
Oh, come on with the ads, man. Yeah, this is absolutely devastating. I don't know. Let's see.
Los Angeles wildfire.
Lord, with your hands.
Whether it was divine intervention or Rich's sheer determination, their lives were saved. Among them, the neighbor,
look at those embers
confused amid the chaos.
No, Greg, your house is on fire. Greg, you have to come with me.
I'm still gonna process it.
Yeah, my neighbor needs assistance, and we told him early on to leave, and he said, no, I'll stay. And I grabbed him, and I was pulling on him, and he was fighting me because he was going to go back in his burning house and lock the door. We got him out, and we looked back, and his house was fully involved.
He said
Across
they
LA
looked
County,
back
some
and the
60
house
square
was
miles of
gone.
land, now scorched earth. Firefighters have gained ground against
Look
the
at
two
this.
largest blazes, the Palisades and Eaton fires, but the devastation left behind is staggering.
This is Malibu. Normally you wouldn't be able to see the Pacific Ocean from here, but all of those multi-million-dollar mansions
Look at these
are gone. It
mansions
is destruction
are
as far as the eye can
burnt
see, and the road to recovery will be long.
Those gone. The whole house is burnt, man. Listen, we don't need to see no more. This is crazy. That burnt to the freaking ground. That's crazy, man. I put up a video. On my Instagram, and this guy was driving, and he was driving, I guess, through his neighborhood, and it looked like he was driving to hell. Like, that's the only way I could describe it. That's the only way I could even talk about what I was looking at. I think I watched the video like 4 times. I was like, this is completely crazy. It's just he's driving. It's like fire on all sides of him, and you just see the fire coming. And then the closer he gets, the more you see the smoke. And then he gets in the middle of it. I guess his house was in the middle of it, and it's just fire here, fire here, fire here. I was like, what? Craziness. This is absolutely devastating for the people of California. Like I said, this guy talking about he tried to pull that guy, like, listen, it's on fire, bro. We gotta go. And he was like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm protecting my house. And can you be mad at these people? I mean, they want to protect their property. And it's like there's nothing you could do because it's so much fire all over the place. There's not enough bodies, there wasn't enough water, there just wasn't enough of anything at this point in time. Multiple fires all over the place. So pray for the people of California. Listen, it doesn't matter, rich people, not so rich people. It doesn't matter, man. People are people. And just because somebody is a little bit well off because they're an actor, entertainer, or whatever, doesn't mean they don't have family and memories or people that they've lost in these fires, or they were affected because of these fires. So this is a time for people to band together, because it's going to be a long, rough, hard road in the mountains. How do you get construction crews in there to rebuild? How do you even rebuild that? I think the Olympics is supposed to be there in 28 or 27. I think 28 is 3 years enough time to get in there and rebuild everything back up to the way it was. Some of these areas were very, very affluent, high-profile areas that were burnt to the ground. And how do you go in there and fix that? It's going to be a long road. And we know there was a lot of mismanagement going on. We know somebody has to be accountable for this. Don't blame Mother Nature. Don't blame the winds. No. People could have been spared. Lives could have been saved because of this. Even though it probably would have still been bad, lives could have been saved because of this. So hopefully they can find out what's going on, and they could get their act together over there in California, and the people in power, the people in leadership. But as for the people in California, praying for y'all. I cannot even begin to imagine what it is to just lose your home and watch a pretty house, a pretty mansion, a pretty whatever, and now it's just rubble. I don't know. So that's all I got for you guys today. We'll continue to monitor the situation, see what's going on. I'll keep y'all posted.